quick before we get started. And I'm going to put the first question, which you all should have seen on the agenda. I'm going to put that into the chat box just so you can see it. Also, please feel free to interrupt me by either turning on your microphone and your video or typing in the chat box. I'm happy to communicate that way as well. Our first question came from FQ Toasters. From now until June 2018, are we going off the list of 10 DCP requirements where achieving 5 gets you distinguished, 7 is select distinguished, and 9 is president? Or are we just following the transition DCP schedule? And the answer to that is, from now until the 2 years after the final region rolls out, we will follow this schedule. So as of right now, the final region is supposed to roll out starting in June 2018. So as of today, we have over 2.5 years that we'll be working on that transition plan. We will still have the 5, 7, and 9, just as we do today. You just have kind of more options to work through. You do still have to meet the requirements for the administrative pieces, so getting your officer training in on time, or officers trained and getting your dues in on time. And you do still have to meet the membership requirements like we do today. After the transition period, so in about 2.5 years, headquarters will supply us with a new chart, a new DCP chart that we can follow. However, if you log into International today and go into your club status, we'll see that they've updated your DCP progress to reflect this new chart. So you'll see your traditional education goals, and then you'll also see the new levels in pathway. Hello, welcome to PGW1. Thanks for coming today. So FQ Toasters, did that answer your question about the DCP requirements in the transition? And you can just type that in the chat box if you'd like. Oh, there you are. Hi, Krista. Yep.
Okay. I think that it did. The confusion for us was we were looking through what we have to qualify on the transition chart, and we were a little concerned about being able to achieve the first 4 levels because we only meet twice a month, and there's only so many meetings within there and fitting in all of the speeches within that time because there are at least 5 speeches or more within that first level. So we were just kind of concerned about being able to make it, and then so we only have to make 6 of the 12 in order to, is that distinguished?
Distinguished.
So if you meet 5, then it's distinguished, 7, then you are select, and 9 presidents. That's what we were confused on.
Yeah, it's still the same. Hold on one second. Let me just, you'll see in the chat, I just posted, this was the exact answer from our okay. Q&A manual. So I wish I was looking before this to try and find a new sort of grid to outline this, but you'll still have to meet 6 of the 12 in that one category, and then all the other categories, either the 5, 7, or 9. And I'm going to look, now that the website's back up, I'm going to check in that manual to see if I can find, it's really confusing. And so what I found to be helpful when I logged into, and of course now my Toastmasters isn't working again. I was going to screen share this with you. When you log into Leadership Central and look under your distinguished performance reports, I think it's more clear there on how that will work out for you. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can get this to work. This might help to answer your question a little better. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
This is the new distinguished club. So you'll see, you know, your club region, all that stuff, your membership, your goals. So this all looks the same. And then down here, you'll notice where they've put in the new things, pathways, level 1 awards, how many you need. So this, I feel like it's confusing the way they've said it. Like you need to reach, 6 of these. Mm-hmm. But then you still need to reach the other ones of these. So where the 5, 7, 9 come into play, it sort of is confusing to me. But this, I think, is definitely clearer. One thing you might want to consider doing, and we might want to do this in the outreach club as well, is print this off, unless I can find a kind of clear version of this, and give this to your members, because I think that will help to make things a little more understandable.
Okay.
Does that help, Krista? I think hopefully this.
Yes, that helps. I'm going to have to check that out for us and see what we have on there.
Awesome.
So the 6 there is just with that, within that blue section that.
Yeah, those are speeches. So either your traditional, the education program that you're working in, or if people are working in pathways, you need to complete 6 of those 12 just for that chunk there at the first.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Sure. What other questions do you folks have today for me? Or comments? Have you gotten into pathways? Have you done your assessment? We can really just kind of have a conversation here if anybody has anything they want to share.
Yeah, this is Julia.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Shona. So I went through and did my assessment, and that was kind of fun. And then I read the 3 paths, and I was chicken and chose the 3rd one. Didn't choose the one that they recommended for me. I figured I'd work into that. So I chose the 3rd one, and you just before the meeting got me to where I finally should be to see it. So I'm in there, and I don't know if I can explain with the system being down or whatever. So I clicked the launch, and it gave from the icebreaker, and it gave me a project sheet, which I was kind of excited about because it downloads and you can print it out. And since I'm older, I still love paper. I try to do more and more online, but I do love paper, especially in Toastmasters. Like I used to love the books and the projects. So I was kind of excited to see that. So I'm in there now, and it gave me a nice project checklist. So but on the left for my dynamic leadership, it has levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like these little buttons. Can you explain, do you know, looking at that, what it means, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? When I think what I'm in is just level 1. That's what I think I'm looking at. Will that automatically populate when I finish it?
Yes, that's a great question. First, you have to do the icebreaker. Each project starts with an icebreaker. You can't repeat the speech, the same exact speech, every icebreaker. However, you can take the feedback from your audience, make changes, tweak it, whatever, and continue to use it in that way, but that icebreaker will not transfer over. So once you do the icebreaker for each project, it will unlock those other levels. So that way, it can ensure that you're building on the skills each. You're not sort of skipping around throughout the process. You're doing level 1, and then it'll unlock your next level. So you're continuing to build on those skills and competencies as you move through the levels. So right now, yes, you'll see those levels, but if you try to click on those, nothing will happen.
Okay, good. That's what I was trying to get at. So unlike the old where you could actually do speeches out of order, in some ways this is more ordered. And
right.
So each time, like say I do this speech at the end of the month here, and then do I tell the VP of Education, are they the ones that will go in and say, yes, this is done? Like, how does that happen once it's done?
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like yet, but so traditionally right now, and I do just want to note that I can see that there are some questions in the group chat, and I will get to those. Right now, if we're working through a manual, usually like the last page, your VPE has to signature or initial that you've completed those things. There is a part in Basecamp where your VPE will do that, and I don't know what that looks like yet. But once you meet all of those levels, then your VPE can log in as a Basecamp manager and say, yes, Julia completed these, she's good, and submit that to headquarters.
But wouldn't that have to be done for each level in order to unlock this? To go to level 2?
No, because you'll be having to, let me see if I can, unfortunately, because I haven't started my pathways, I can't demonstrate any of these things yet. They will not have to for each level. Like Basecamp knows that you've completed these things as you work through. So your icebreaker, then that will unlock the evaluation feedback, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once you complete these 4 Basecamp knows, okay, you've done the requirements for those. Now I'm going to unlock level 2, and you're going to start working through those. The only time your VPE should have to submit is level 5, after you've completed all of those levels. So that's the entire path. Then it would be like completing a manual. So you've done all 10 speeches, you're going to do all 5 levels, and then your VPE will say, okay, yep, you've completed this dynamic leadership path.
So the level 1, the reason it knows I've done that is someone goes in and does the evaluation. Is
Right.
that what signals it to be done?
What's that?
So I do my icebreaker, and then whoever fills out my evaluation and feedback, is that where Toastmasters then understands, oh, she did level 1. Now I'll unlock level 2.
Let me stop sharing this. I'm pretty sure that was something we had mentioned last week in our session. Let me just double check this really quickly.
Because when I hit launch, it doesn't show me anything but the project checklist. So it's sort of clear, I got to do my speech. But then after I do my speech, when I go back in here, how do I make it understand that I did the first speech and I'm ready for the next?
So that button will change. Right now you probably see launch, maybe view training details. I might see something different. That button will change when you go through it, and you can go in and hit, okay, I completed my icebreaker. And you'll also see on that page, it'll like at the sort of middle-ish on the left, you'll see curriculum progress. So once you go in and say, okay, I did my icebreaker, good here, I have my evaluation, you can hit complete there. Your curriculum progress will update to show that you've, whatever percentage that might be. The evaluation and feedback is actually a project. So from my understanding, and I just sent all of you the catalog in an email a little bit ago for each project, it kind of expands on what those pathways looks like. I believe the evaluation and feedback is where you are doing a project, so you would evaluate someone's speech. It'd be like the roles that you fill out in the meetings. You give feedback on someone's speech, like you're the speech evaluator. Okay. We have a question. Hi, Terry. You are from the Elk County Toastmasters Club. Not really a question, but more of a statement. So to my knowledge, not everyone in our club has completed their assessment. That's okay. We still have this transition period of, a little over 2.5 years. If people don't want to get started in Pathways, I should state, if current members don't want to get started in Pathways yet and they want to finish up some things in the traditional program, they don't have to. It's important to note, though, that any new members moving forward must start in Pathways. So if some of your members haven't done their assessment, that's okay. I would encourage people to get in there and at least do the assessment, check out Basecamp, see what paths are recommended for them. And then, they could select a path, but they don't have to get started. So that's what I'm doing. I went in and did the assessment, selected my path, but I'm going to finish up some things in the traditional program before I move into that. So that's okay, but Terry, I would definitely suggest that you just encourage your members to, at minimum, go in and take the assessment and check things out, even if they don't anticipate getting started yet. Krista, can we use the guide you sent us to prep for the other levels? So if I understand your question correctly, I believe that, yes, you can use that as a resource. You can kind of look ahead at what some of the other paths entail. Oh, that was in response to Julia's question. Sorry. Sometimes it's a little hard with the chat to make sure that she was saying she couldn't see the levels. Right, yes. So you can use that guide. Julia, if you haven't had a chance to look at that too, we can go over that. Yep, so correct. You can prep with the guide. Let's see. Is it required for the speech evaluator to perform digital evaluation? Our club's venue does not offer internet Wi-Fi. That is not required. If you go through Basecamp, you just need to make sure that as the speaker, you print out the evaluation to give to your evaluator. If your club has internet access and you have some tech-savvy people and they want to just do it virtually instead of printing that out, you can, but you don't have to. That is not a requirement. So The important thing is if you choose to do base camp, obviously you won't have that paper manual to hand to your evaluator. So if you're giving a speech, you just need to make sure you log into base camp and print that evaluation sheet for your evaluator. I also want to mention Heather McCormick is from Johnstown, and this is one of my clubs, and it's the only club so far that I have not been able to go visit to share the Pathways presentation. So that will be happening tomorrow with their club president, Travis, is going to be helping me coordinate that. But I wanted to first welcome you, Heather, to today's session, and also do you have any questions? I know that you're going to see the Pathways presentation for the first time tomorrow, but do you have any questions, or have you heard any questions from your club, or is there any kind of anticipation about Pathways? And I'll give you a second to type in the chat box since I know you don't have a microphone or camera. Okay, Heather says no questions at this time, so I anticipate that tomorrow after your session I will be working with Travis to make sure that any questions that you do have, I will be able to get answered for you. Others online, what questions do you have or comments? And I apologize, hopefully next week when we meet I will be over this cold and I won't be coughing and blowing my nose. Long has a question, what happens if TI, Toastmasters International, is hacked or DB crashed? That is a great question, Long. I don't know the answer to that. I'm hoping they have some sort of backup plan, but I don't know. Okay, guys, I guess if there are no other questions at this time, as I mentioned at the beginning, we would have a short meeting today. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, November 22nd. That is going to be a morning session. You may have noticed when I sent out the dates for these, I really just tried to randomly pick mornings or afternoons or some evenings just to try and accommodate for everyone. I totally understand if you can't make all of these or if you can only do one every now and then, or however, that's okay. So otherwise, if there aren't any other questions at this time, we'll go ahead and call it a day, or maybe not a day, maybe just a meeting. It's kind of early still. And I will send out today's recording and see you guys next week.